Welcome. I'm here with Nooky, also known as Corey Webster, and we are at the Shoalhaven Regional Gallery. Behind us is a portrait of Nooky that was in the 2025 Archibald Prize. And now this is special to have this here in this gallery because Nooky grew up here. He is from Nowra, Nowra Public, Nowra High School, and he's proudly out putting the Nowra name out there in many different places. So we're going to have a conversation with him, catch up about this artwork and everything that he's been up to. So welcome, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, good, bro. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good to be home.
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, what I would like to know, and when people watch this, is how does a young lad from Nowra, heads out into the world and ends up being a finalist for his portrait in the Archibald Prize? How did the actual painting come to be?
Yeah, so look, being born and raised in Nowra, you kind of get this make it happen by any means sort of attitude. So yeah, left Nowra when I was 17 and kind of followed the pursuit of music. So yeah, like long story short, been doing music for a few years. I launched the first Indigenous show on Triple J, Blackout, every Sunday, and support act, they do this thing called Oz Music T-shirt Day, right? And they sang out to me to do a First Nations kind of design T-shirt, and I reached out to an artist, JESWRI, and I said, hey, I got this idea of kind of, like those old hip hop posters where you got Dr. Dre, Eminem, all of them on the one thing. I said, bro, it'd be sick if we done a shirt that was like all of us in that style. So that's the first time me and Jess worked together, and the Archibald was coming up, and yeah, he reached out, he said, from everything you've done on Blackout, we played Treaty for an hour on repeat after The Voice, and the community work I do with We Are Warriors and 3% was on an absolute tear. We just won 2 ARIA awards, and yeah, so Jesse reached out and said, I'd love to kind of depict that, put all that into our artwork and then enter it into the Archibald, and I'm like, yeah, bro, let's go. So that's kind of how it happened, and ended up being a finalist in it.
Amazing, yeah. And it's such a unique piece. Like, I've had a chance to walk around the gallery today and it really stands out. It's like pop art, It's absolutely epic. So you and I go actually way back, and we were in the same primary school class. You were in year 5 and I was in year 6, and my mum was the teacher. That was her first year of teaching. That was her first permanent year. And then I went to Nowra High, and your mum was the Aboriginal liaison officer there, right? Yeah. So we've been intersecting for a while, and yeah, I think it's so cool to see that, you've gone off and done this. And I probably remember last time I saw you was a 17-year-old, and I was living overseas. I was living in New York, which I know you traveled to and did some study over there and did some stuff in America. But I didn't know about any of that. And I came back and I was driving around and I was listening to Triple J, and I hear, this is Nooky, the future mayor of Nowra, on Triple J. And I'm like, who is this Nooky? And I Googled you. And I'm like, it's Corey. I'm like, what? That is crazy. And I just think what you're doing for Nowra and putting your name out there is so cool. But I want to take it back a bit, and what was life growing up for you like here in Nowra Public School and into Nowra High?
Yeah, no, look, I wouldn't pick another place in the world to be born and raised. Like Nowra's kind of everything to me, and it's made me the man who I am, and it's given me, the voice to tell the stories that I do, and the stories come from here, But Nowra's the type of place where it's a bit conflicting growing up here, It's very beautiful, it's a very strong sense of pride and culture and identity and families around everywhere, but it comes with its problems as well. And I think, when you're born here and you're raised in this community, like we all feel that, and it shapes us, and there's a certain, there's character traits that we carry, and I feel like we only have them, It's, can have a laugh and don't take things too serious, but when it's time to turn it on, we turn it on. So I think that's really helped me with my music, and I love to see what you're doing, and always I enjoy the synergy that me and you share, because we did go to school together, and I remember you was like the school captain and stuff, and prefect and all that.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was mad, like leadership skills, like you could see that from a young age, the qualities you had, and then I was over here, got kicked out of school, you know, now we're the two kind of, you know, leading the charge for the town. If anything, we shouldn't be getting on, you know what I mean? But we do, and give a lot to our town and our community, and just love to kind of see it thrive and grow, and, you know, break some of the stereotypes and the stigmas that do surround the town. I remember when I kind of, you know, been living in Sydney for a long time, and I jumped in the Uber one time, and the Uber driver asked me questions. He's like, "Where you from?" I said, "Oh, I'm from Nowra," and he'd like double take, and he's not. Every time you say you're from Nowra, taxi driver or someone like that, they look at you twice. Well, yeah, this fella, he's like, "Oh, Nowra," he done the double take. They got a big abo problem down there, and I was like, "Oh, this," you know what I mean? So, yeah, some of the things you kind of grow up with and wear and stuff, but like, yeah, to see, you know, the town kind of thriving and doing what it's doing now, from, you know, all the kind of black businesses in town, like the school students down here absolutely smashing it, the local footy teams down here like Crookhaven, top of the ladder right now, so that's sick. But yeah, and it's always been here. It's just, you know, sometimes Nowra got a bit of a bad rap, and kind of made it my mission to you know, I talk to the nation every Sunday, drop Nowra in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard you even dropped Nowra on the New Year's celebrations on the...
yeah. Every chance I get to kind of scream it from the mountaintops, I do it. So yeah. Performed as part of Sydney's New Year's Eve, which is, you know, so I think it's the first kind of New Year's Eve celebration the world get to watch, and the viewers for that it's wild. It's in the millions. So had to do a little shout out to Nowra.
Mad respect, man. And I know that, you know, you talked about you know, mentoring and young kids, and I think you spend a lot of time coming back into the community. Can you talk a little bit about what you've been doing down here with Nowra High and even with some of the schools down here?
Yeah, so again, for me it was, you know, I got kicked out of school, and then I was about 17. At that point was a bit of a, you know, a pivotal moment for me, because I feel like the goal was to always finish school. That was kind of like a dream of mine, and I feel like it got crushed when I got the boot.
There's still time.
Yeah, so I was like, what do I do now? And at that point, I feel like Nowra's kind of given me everything it could, and there was a bit of resentment for the kind of situation I was in. So I packed my bags and I left. But the goal was to never like leave and turn my back on my community and kind of forget where I came from and stuff. The goal was to always bring something back, bring back what I learned, you know, out there, what I experienced, bring it back and kind of make like a fast track for the kids if they want to go do something like that. So yeah, I left and focused on music for a long time, and I always had this dream of kind of wanting to come back and soup up the youth centre, like turn it into like a X-Men HQ sort of thing, like somewhere that's, you know, if you want to study art, dance, fashion, music, sport or whatever, just give that kind of environment for the kids to really sharpen their skills and hone in on what they're great at. So that was always something I wanted to do, and yeah, after doing music for a long time, get to about 2021, I thought, yeah, it's about time to do something. You know, I've been going for a long time. I've accomplished some stuff. How can I kind of give back to my community? And then this fellow, his name is Ben Miles. He worked for like this advertising agency at the time. He reached out. He said, "Hey, if you had the chance to do something, what would you do?" And I told him this is exactly what I'd do. And he asked me why. Well, why would you want to, you know, create programs or do something for the youth back in Nowra? And I said, oh, because for me it was hard. Like I didn't really feel like I had the space to zone in and do what I was good at, and you know, the opportunities and stuff weren't all exactly there. So I had to leave, and dealing with racism and, you know, hard truths and things like that. I said I kind of want to attack that and solve that problem. And then I started telling him, you know, about some memories at school. Like, so the first like big memory for me was we were getting a lesson on blackfellas, and the teacher gets the projector out and puts pictures up on the thing there. Yeah, so gets the pictures out and then starts giving the lesson, and you know, said these were Aboriginal people. They were here before Australia got colonised, and they were a bunch of dirty savages who ran around the bush naked. And as I'm looking at the pictures, like at this point, I didn't know the difference between black and white. I just knew my family, you know, knew the colour of their skin, knew the language they talked was a little different, you know, different sort of slangs and language mixed into, you know, so I knew things were a little different, but I didn't quite grasp the difference until that moment. And in that moment, like, I felt shut off from the other kids. I felt different. There was a couple other black kids in the class. I thought we were different to the other kids, and yeah, it kind of hurt me, eh? So yeah, school finishes that day and Mum picks me up, and I get in the car and I couldn't control my emotions anymore, eh? Like, I started bawling, and Mum, she's like, oh, what's wrong? And I asked her, I said, hey, we're Aboriginal, aren't we, Mum? And she goes, yeah, son, why's that? And I said, I don't want to be dirty. And she said, we weren't dirty people, son, we were warriors. And I told Ben that story, and he's like, that's it. And I'm like, you know what, bro? Yeah, that is it. And so we started this organisation, We Are Warriors, and back in the schools that I used to go to, the Nowra High when I got kicked out, being back in that school and, you know, doing programs with the kids, teaching them music and fashion and dance and stuff. So I bring in Luke Ebsworth, who's another fellow I grew up with. We danced together. And bring him in, he was teaching traditional dance to the kids, and yeah, I was teaching music. The G'd Up boys came down and done some like fashion stuff with the kids. They helped them make a jersey for their footy team down there, and yeah, other opportunities pop up. So I took one of the kids from the program to meet Jess Mowboy and do a studio session with her. There was another young fellow who was experiencing some racism, and his dad actually got me into music, taught me how to rap and stuff, and he started experiencing racism for the first time, and his mum reached out to me and said, you know, he's kind of struggling a little bit with it. And this fella, like, he loves his culture, like, so he dances a lot, he likes doing music, and he's a gun basketball player. And I said, oh, that sounds like someone I know. So I bring up Paddy Mills' assistant. I'm like, hey, you got this young fella here, can we bring him to Miami? So yeah, we flew out to Miami, took Tafio out there, met Paddy Mills, sat courtside at a Heat game, sat behind Neymar. So yeah, just like kind of linking kids with high profile mentors and showing them, you know, what's possible out there. Like even, yeah, so tomorrow, a couple kids get to see The Rock. So like all that sort of stuff. Like for me, it's always been about sharing. So like I don't like to, you know, these opportunities come to me and I just do it all. For me, it's always been about sharing and giving opportunities to other people. So yeah, whenever something pops up and I can bring the kids, I'll bring them along and show them what's out there, you know. But hopefully get it to a point where it's not like my story and you have to leave here to go make something of yourself, and so they can get to stay home and do their thing and be just as successful without having to go move to Sydney and couch surf and do all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think like what is so inspiring about that is like you're showing them what's possible. You're not like giving them all the things. You're like, this is in the realm of possibility what you could do. And I think even coming from a small town, like that little glimmer of hope can carry you a long, long way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's so cool. And that's what we're trying to do with nowra.org.au is we're trying to show people that there's good stories happening here, you know, with the podcast and the different things that we're promoting. And it's like, we want to show people that maybe the stigma or the stories that people think around Nowra are actually not necessarily true.
Yeah, because man, like I'm pretty sure when we were growing up here, we had the highest crime rate in New South Wales or something, and that like still carries today. So yeah, it's mad. It is really nice to see everything that's kind of happening down here, all the cafes and stuff you got now. That's sick. I got used to coffee when I moved to Sydney. Yeah.
What do you hope that Nowra is like in 10 years' time?
Oh, in 10 years' time, it'd be sick if I was the actual mayor.
Done.
Yeah, no, look, I'd just love to see it just keep building and succeeding and thriving, you know. So these kids from the schools, hopefully they'd be running the show by then. And more businesses and local stories kind of just being broadcast to the world.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be sick to see like a music festival hit Nowra at the showground. That'd be sick.
3%.
Yeah, we'll do it. Like, cause things like that, like everything is here to be activated. Like, I'd just love to see a bit more of it happening in our little town.
Yeah, cool. So all of this wouldn't be possible without your buddy Jez.
Yep.
Can you just speak a little bit about him and his art story about this was a photo that was taken you after the ARIAs when you were wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about Jez first and then about the painting.
Yeah. So Jesse's you know, he's an amazing artist, and like he's very thoughtful and grounded in culture when he does his work. Like he's very much of a, you know, black stories should be depicted through black people and the black lens, not the white gaze, as he says it. So like his artwork is a form of practicing culture, it's resilience, it's living in a modern day, and it's very much connected. And look, he's done everything from this Archibald one here. He's done some stuff like Aston Martin, the Australian Open, so like he's doing some pretty big things, and he's very deserving of it. And you know, every time he does, you know, put brush to canvas or spray can to wall, like culture informs his art and his vision. So it's mad to, you know, be able to walk alongside him and work with him.
And tell us a little bit about this. So the photo was a photo of you taken after the ARIAs in 2024. Right?
Yeah. So 3%, we just dropped our debut album, and you know, it was kind of doing its thing, created a little bit of a buzz, and then the ARIAs were coming up, and look, I think it's a Nowra thing, you know what I mean? Like, I like to make statements. It's one of them ones that's like you win the carpet, you win the night sort of thing. So we had this performance, and I remember seeing Stormzy at Glastonbury with the Banksy bulletproof vest. And I grew up on 50 Cent, so 50 Cent was always wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm like, let's put our spin on it, because I haven't seen it done here before. Let's give it our touch. So get the bulletproof vest. I'm not gonna say how I got it, but I got it. So I got it. And then, I reached out to another artist friend of mine, Mel Nunny, who's a Nyampa Wiradjuri artist, who again paints a lot of like traditional styles from out that way. I said, man, I've got this bulletproof vest, can you paint it for me? So he painted it for me, and then we hit the ARIAs, and again, we get to the ARIAs, bring a bunch of the lads from down home, they came up and they were painted up, and they had spears and boomerangs and all that sort of stuff, and they kind of danced us down the red carpet. Had a young fellow from down here as well, he got to come up and experience it, which is, again, it's pretty mad, but also pretty red hot, taking a kid to the ARIAs. So we done that. So I was like, I'll try and take Nowra with me everywhere I go. I'll try and take culture with me everywhere I go, and the ARIAs was no different. Bring Nowra with us that night, and we ended up taking 2 of them, nominated for 4, and we got 2 out of 4. Then we went back the next year again, was nominated for another one, so got that, so that's 3 out of 5. And a similar thing is like, all right, what do we do this time? All right, I'm coming on a horse. So I rode a horse into the ARIAs, and I got a plan for the next one too.
How do you top that?
We landed in the ARIAs this next one. So the plan is, I'll tell you now, we done some work with Fox Sports and at Allianz, which is actually, we done a song, and they used one of our songs for their ad for the Indigenous round. And that's the song that won the ARIA. So Fox Sports got the ARIA for the best use of music in the ad. So they like 3% at the moment, and they have access to Allianz Stadium. All I got to find is a helicopter, and then we'll fly the helicopter. We'll land in Allianz, and then we'll go to the ARIAs next door. That's the plan.
Lucky we're a Navy town.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know a few helicopter pilots.
Oh,
all right, man, this has been epic. It's been so good to catch up. what would you say if we were to get this blown up and get Jez to come down and paint it somewhere massive where your nan could see it when she would go shopping?
Yeah, no, look, I think that's a sick idea. Nan would love it. I think it's much needed. The mayor of Nowra deserves a mural so he can watch over his constituents. Yeah.
All right, I reckon we should make it happen, bro.
Sick, let's go.
All right, very good. Thank you, guys. It's been a conversation with Nooky, and please, check out nowra.org.au and keep an eye on the walls around Nowra to see if we can make this thing into reality. Thanks for watching.